It's the A Course in Miracles series, letting go live through the A Course in Miracles workbook. And today we're looking at lesson 159. I give the miracles I have received. The giving and receiving are one, according to A Course in Miracles, happens at exactly the same time. And what have we been giving? For this release, it's a special release. For we are going to give the miracle and receive it at the same time. Just here, just in letting go. It's all it takes. A miracle is the change in perception that occurs, where we go from seeing what was sick or wrong or sinful and see the truth, the perfection of divinity. So this release is an opportunity to give somebody the perfection of divinity and therefore receive it yourself. Christ's vision sees no sin, for it does not exist. And for you to see as Christ sees, could you allow yourself to release the seeing, the believing, the imagining, the insanity of sin? So could you take anyone who you would give perfection, give holiness, give healing to, anyone at all? So for this release, just find somebody, ask, who would I give holiness, light, and perfection to? And take a look. What have you, like, if you got somebody really sick in your life, what are the kinds of thoughts, what's the kind of vision you've had of them? So, oh, this person's, they're maybe they've got an addiction problem, maybe they've got a health issue. I'm looking at the surface. They're in pain, they're suffering and misery. And so just look at the vision you've been giving them. And is that Christ's vision? Is that what you would give and receive? And not to make wrong of it or guilt yourself over it, what you have been perceiving in the world. It's in your innocence, just as what they are perceiving is in their innocence. They know not what they do. So in this release, we'll take that person, anyone who you would give a miracle and receive a miracle. We'll let go of any sin or wrong or sickness we've been seeing in them. And then we will release the resistance to seeing their perfection, their divinity, their holy being. So who would you give a miracle to today? A miracle of healing. And would you receive that miracle at the same time? Blessed is the giver. Blessed is the giver. Let's begin. Holding in mind any person that you would give the miracle of healing. And I give the miracles I have received. And just look at this person in your mind's eye and just check in if there's anything you've been giving them other than their perfection, their holiness, their health. What have you been giving this person? And this is not to guilt or make wrong of. or fear, bring about fear. This is simply to bring that anything up you've been putting out and release it. That's other than their holiness and their perfection. They're being whole and complete. So could you just allow any energy up behind any misperceptions you may have had of this person? Any human vision you've had of this person? And could you allow that up? Let it come up. And how does that feel to be seeing them this way? Could you just let that up, bring it to light? And could you release, let go of seeing them in error, of any misperception of this Son of God? Would you let go of seeing them in error, make way for their perfection, seeing them in truth? And holding this person in mind, is there anything left, anything you've been seeing them as wrong, hurting, suffering, in error, sick? It's okay. It does seem to appear that way to the physical eyes and senses at times. Could you just notice how it feels to be looking at them in error, to be missing their perfection? And could you allow that up, that you might release it to see the truth of what they are? Healed, whole, and complete. Could you bring up anything other than that to their wholeness, their completion, their perfection? Just let any of that come up from your projector and just feel what that feels like to be seeing them in error, giving them that and receiving that. And could you just let this feeling release? Let the misperception release. Let the projection of error or sickness release. Could you let that go just for now? Would you let that go if you could and see the light and the truth and God in them? It takes what it takes. I may have bought into the physical perceptions I've had of this person for some time and given them sickness, given them error, given them suffering, seeing that in them, and then given that to myself. You know how it feels when you're looking at somebody suffering and you give yourself suffering just in the perception of that. It's the same thing. I give and I receive at the same time. And today I give the miracles I receive. So taking this person whom you would give the miracle of perfection, health, completion, holiness, the miracle of God. Could you just notice anything you've seen other than that? any sickness, any suffering, any error that you've seen in this person. Could you notice how that feels in you? Could you allow this feeling up? Could you let up this dark, erroneous energy, just an error? Could you allow that energy, that darkness, to come to the light of truth? Just let it come up. Let it be there. And enlighten it with your awareness. Oh, this is what I've been giving and receiving. Okay. And rather than shove it back down or try to get away from it, could you bring it to the light where it will dissolve? Just allowing, feeling, noticing. And could you surrender, give up, seeing things this way, giving things this way, and receiving things this way, to be enlightened? It's really just a choice. You can hold on to the illusion of sickness, death, suffering, or you can let it go. Surrender it, give it up, turn it over to God. Would you surrender the illusion about this person to see them as Christ sees them? Holy, perfect. When could you surrender the illusion of sickness and death? Give it up. Turn it over to God to see as Christ sees, to give Christ's vision to this person and receive it for yourself. I give the miracles I have received. I give the miracles I have received. I give the miracles I have received. And now, holding this person in mind, would you give them the vision Christ has of them, the truth of them, their holiness, their perfection, their health, their aliveness, their light? Could you give them that now and receive that now? Looking upon them in your mind's eye, would you have revealed their holiness, the Son of God, perfect as they are? And receive what you give. The miracle. It is done. I give the miracles I have received at one. And holding this person in mind, all illusions about this person dispelled, what they are. Will you give them the miracle of Christ's vision, of Christ's presence in them? Will you see them in truth and light, holiness, completion? Will you give them this and receive it? Will you look upon the Son of God in his light and perfection? Will you give the miracle you have received? And this is something that has been given you to give away. All the miracles given to you to give away. As you give them, you receive them. Could you allow your vision, Christ's vision of holiness, perfection, to be given away to all those you see? And just release anything other than that. Just let go of the physical senses, the valuing of them, to value what is truly valuable. The truth, the light of God in all. Well done releasing. Today you give the miracles you have received.